Hello, welcome to another video by LSX Engines, Tuning, and Marine. This is part 4, and in the last video on upgrading to a Delco EST distributor, I was about to install the spark plug wires on the new Delco distributor cap when I discovered that the Mercruiser spark plug wires would not fit. Or they fit, but they wouldn't stay on. So I went and bought a new set of spark plug wires, and the coil wire that goes from the coil to the cap is too short to reach from where I'd mounted the coil on the back of the head up to the distributor. I took the mounting bracket off where the old Thunderbolt ignition module was, removed the Thunderbolt module, drilled holes in the bracket, and then mounted the ignition coil on this bracket. So I'm about to reinstall it back in the boat. And I checked, this is close enough to where the coil wire will reach. And I really couldn't find any other places to mount the coil that would be accessible and also not interfere with the carburetor or the distributor. So I'm about to remount this coil back in there, and then I'll hook up the wiring. All right, I have now mounted the ignition coil on the side of the exhaust riser on the port side of the engine, and the coil wire reaches from the distributor cap over to the ignition coil, no problem. Now I've created a new problem in that the gray and purple wires from the back of the engine, the harness where the coil was, will not reach the new coil location. But I can extend those pretty easily. The main thing I wanted to work was this coil wire. So what I'm gonna do is, these are female bullet connectors. I'm gonna cut those off, butt splice a red to the purple and a white to the gray, and bring them over and connect them right here on this coil. So I'll do that now, and then make that connection and show you what it looks like when it's done. All right, I've now finished wiring up the coil area, and I just want to explain what I've done. So as I was saying before, the purple and gray wire were too short, so I extended them with white and red wires, red being 12 volts. So you see here's the purple and red back here. I butt spliced the purple into a, let me see a better picture. So there's the purple going into a red butt spliced, and then the white going into a gray. I need to heat shrink. These are both heat shrunk. And by the way, I was a little bit concerned about heat shrinking back here in this build where I got a carburetor full of gasoline sitting right here, but I made sure it was aired out for a long time, and then kept the flames away from the carburetor. But anyway, I need to finish heat shrinking that a little bit better. So we need the white and the red extend up here, and they connect to the coil terminals just like before with bullet connectors, and that's to the coil there. So then back at the other repurposing wires. So if you remember back in part 1, I described the function of the tan, blue, and yellow. All I did was I connected those together with a butt splice, and that now the high temperature alarm horn will work. The yellow wire is your high temperature switch, and the tan wire is your horn. And when the high temperature switch turns on, it turns on your horn. So that's taken care of. Here's where it got not really tricky, but here's where I repurposed some wires, and you need to pay attention to this. So the purple wire was leading up to the module. The module was mounted right here on the exhaust riser. The purple wire is feeding 12 volts to your module. So I repurposed that, and I'm running the purple wire to this purple white. The purple white was part of the same connector. Actually, the purple wire and the tan blue were one connector, and then the purple was a part of this other connector right here. You can see I cut the purple, the yellow, the white, black, and then these two wires here. The green and the white with red stripe, and the green and the white with green stripe, they're gone. I cut them off and just got rid of them. The only reason I haven't cut the black and the gray is because the gray is still active with a tachometer signal on it, so I'm not going to cut it off. I'm going to stuff silicone in here to keep water out of it. So anyway, this purple white right here, as I explained before, comes out over here at your shift kill switch. So now with this purple butt splice to the purple white, I've taken 12 volts from here and fed it over to right here. So I now have 12 volts on this purple white. So I'm repurposing this wire. All right. Now, the black and white, which is right here, comes out over here. And what I've done is I've put a female bullet connector on it, and we'll connect that right here to the shift kill, what they call the shift kill harness on this distributor. And remember, I said if this bullet connector here, if this loop is made, and you put 12 volts here, you're now in base timing mode. That's your set timing tool. However, if I pull this loose, these two apart, which I can't do barehanded, anyway, I'll show that later. If these two are pulled apart and I have 12 volts here, you're now in shift kill mode. It'll just kill the ignition because you won't have a signal coming in here to tell it when to fire, so it'll just die. So I'm repurposing this. I'm using this as a dual purpose tool for both set timing and shift kill. So, like I said, I've butt spliced these two, and when I make this connection, this bullet connector here to down here on the distributor, all this wiring back here will be done. I'm going to put it back in the loom and wire tie it down to this water hose. I'm going to wire tie it down to this water hose here to keep it down low, because I don't want it. You want to keep your high tension lead at least 2 or 3 inches away from any lower voltage wires. So that's what I'm doing now. And then once I do that, I'll finish my wiring up here. The last bit of wiring I'll have to do is up here at the shift kill switch. And I believe what I'm going to do is, you see how these are both female? These are both female, and your shift kill has a female and a male. So all I've got to do is make up, this male will go to the 12 volts right there. And I just need to make a jumper with a male bullet on each end, and that jumper will go from there to there, and this circuit will be made. This will be abandoned. This is a ground wire. It'll just be abandoned in place, and that'll make up my shift kill system. So with that jumper, if I have a male jumper, all I have to do is, if I want to set timing, pull these apart, take my male jumper and jumper between these two females, and I've got my set timing system, because I'll be passing 12 volts straight to the white wire all the time, and that'll be how I'll set the timing. So, and as long as I make up that loop. So about to wrap this up, and I'll show you a video when it's all done. All right, the repurposing and rewiring is all done, and this engine is now ready to start. I've got all the spark plug wires installed, including the coil wire right here. The new coil is mounted, and as I was saying, I've got the wires repurposed, and I've got them tied down on the water pump. The water hose, to keep them away from the spark plug wires. And again, I've got this bullet connector going to the white with the black stripe, goes to the third wire on your set timing tool and shift kill switch. This loop is in set timing mode now, because when I start it, I want to set my timing as soon as right after I get it started. All right, up here at the shift kill switch, I want to make something very clear. You need to always leave the red jumper in the white black wire. Do not ever take it out. The reason being, if you put this jumper in the purple white and then leave this other end out, if it touches ground, you'll create a direct short, and you could either at worst or at best you'll trip the circuit breaker, or you'll blow a fuse, but at worst you could melt that wire and cause a fire. So always make sure the red jumper stays in the white black, and you do your switching on the other end. You either switch this from here or you switch it to the shift kill switch. You do not leave this red wire in here in the purple white and then disconnect on the other end. As long as you make sure you keep this red wire in the white black, you should be fine, because there will always be that will always take that wire to a low and it won't short. I just want to state that. One thing that I'm pretty sure of is, or I have a hunch, is that a strong hunch is that when you set timing, you want to start your engine and then you make this connection to 12 volts. Don't start it before. Don't have it in there before you start. Start the engine and then make this connection to your shift kill. I believe that's what you need to do, and I'll explain that in part 6. There's a specific process you must go through to set the timing on these things, and I'll explain it in part 6. All right, that's the conclusion of part 4. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for part 5.